If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz, and I'm here today to review the 1944 noir film Double Indemnity, starring Fred MacMurray, Barbara Stanwyck, Edward G. Robinson, and Byron Barr, directed by Billy Wilder. This week's theme is Criterion Collection films, and mainly because Barnes & Noble has a 50% off sale going on right now when it comes to the Criterion Collection. And I thought right now probably a good idea to discuss films I think that if you are interested in the Criterion Collection that maybe you should check out. I'm going to first talk about a box set that I really like, and it is the BBS America Lost and Found collection. I already reviewed 5 Easy Pieces this year, and I thought it was fantastic. And there are other movies that are on there as well that I am very interested in, or I have already seen as well. Definitely check that out if you are interested in that one. The other box set I would also get is the Essential Fellini. I've already seen a few of Federico Fellini's films. Of course, 8.5 is one of my favorites. I watched last year La Dolce Vita. Very good director that I really want to see more of. So when I saw that was on sale, I was like, okay, I'm taking that as well. So those are the box sets. On Friday, I'll discuss movies that are singles that I think you should also check out and pick up for 50% off at Barnes & Noble. Now let's get into the plot of Double Indemnity. The film is about Walter Neff, played by Fred MacMurray, who is an insurance salesman for a company in Los Angeles. During one of his house calls, he meets Phyllis Dietrichson, played by Barbara Stanwyck. He falls for her, and she ropes him into a scheme to murder her husband and to claim the insurance. Meanwhile, when that gets claimed, his friend and insurance claim adjuster, Barton Keyes, played by Edward G. Robinson, smells something funny about the entire claim and decides to investigate to see if it's legit. Double Indemnity is considered a classic noir film, and it's easy to see why. It has a very cynical, acid-tongue dialogue structure that is in a very tightly constructed script. This film is about an hour and 40 minutes, which I think is expertly timed in this movie. I think the dialogue is very smart. It's smart in those ways where it's spoken in kind of a sarcastic code that I really like in these types of films. And it's not coded to the point where if you're not aware of how they spoke at that time that you'll be confused. You'll get it while you're watching it. So I think that the dialogue is one of the big highlights. Another thing that I really like is 1940s LA looks great with the cinematography in this movie. I think the cinematography is really good in this movie. The way that it's shot, even indoors and outdoors, they really highlight the structures and the buildings in this movie. Just the way that LA looks in this film is gorgeous to look at in this black and white film. And the way that they shoot some of the scenes as well with the shadows and everything in it is also really well done. But this movie is more well known for being Barbara Stanwyck's coming out movie. It's one of her best performances, and it's easy to see why. She plays a really good conniving femme fatale in this movie. Then how she does it well, because she owns both sides of this character. It's from the beginning of the movie when she is acting like somebody who is in distress and is just depressed and hates her life and wants to get out of it any way she can. But then as the film goes on, you realize the truth about her. She owns that part too and is very good on that end. So in that performance, I think she's very good. But to me, I think the best performance of the film, the one that I liked the most, was Edward G. Robinson as Keyes in this film. I thought he was hilarious, but also he really steals the show as the movie is going on. He portrays Keyes as a quick-witted, very cynical person who is also dogged but very devoted to his job. But not devoted in that point where he's annoying, but it's kind of endearing in that way that he is. Where I would say that the main character is really not that devoted to his job. He's more interested in the ancillary things. I mean, he does his job well, but he's kind of lackadaisical about it. But I think Edward G. Robinson's performance as Keyes in this movie, I think, is the best performance. I think he is easily the funniest and the most likable character, and he's also the one that keeps the film interesting when it's not involving Stanwyck and MacMurray in the principal plot line of the film. I think how the crime was done was pretty well done. You see MacMurray's character confessing to the entire crime. To see where he messed up and to guess where he might have messed up was, I think, the interesting part about this movie. And honestly, I think it's what made the film entertaining, even though I think there were a lot other things in the movie that were worked on really well. I think MacMurray's performance is really the only performance that I am kind of mixed on. He's fine, but when you have someone like Stanwyck and Edward G. Robinson and they're batting 1,000 in this movie, it is kind of weird to watch him and just kind of be like, he's okay. So But it's not a bad performance, but I thought that he was fine in it, I would say. And here are the footnotes for Double Indemnity, and there's really one footnote, and that's, who knew insurance would be this exciting? I honestly doubt that Jake from State Farm or the Gecko from Geico are having these exciting of lives. I think they're very different, but when I first read what the film was about, I was like, insurance claims? Really? This is what this is about? I guess I was kind of wrong on this. Then again, I don't know much about insurance other than when I have a car I need it, and when I need health insurance I need that too. So yeah, I mean, maybe more films like this would be interesting, but then again, I don't think it would work out with these days. So there you go. Overall, I will absolutely recommend Double Indemnity. I think it's a great film. I think that the performances by Edward G. Robinson and Barbara Stanwyck are great. I think Robinson is the best, but I understand why Stanwyck's performance is probably the one that everyone talks about. She plays both sides of this character really well, and to realize who she is as the movie moves forward is also a very interesting conceit that they have in this. I like the way that the film is shot. I love the dialogue in this movie. I thought it was really good. I guess I'm just a little mixed on Fred MacMurray in this movie. I think he's fine, but he just doesn't hold his weight to the other two actors that were in this movie. But I guess in this movie, he's basically a straight man, so I guess that's not really that big of a deal. So overall, I recommend Double Indemnity. If you are in Barnes & Noble and you're getting stuff from the 50% off sale, I would strongly recommend this. This is a good movie, so check this out if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, you can stream it for like $4 to rent. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. Thank you for listening to this review. If you want to know what we're reviewing in the next couple of days, you can look on the screen right now to see what's coming up next. If you like what you heard, go ahead and leave a like on this video. If you want to discuss your opinion on the film or the review itself, please leave a comment. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for listening. I will talk to you next time.